the uninterrupted power supply will be there for the next 3 months by reducing the generation of hydroelectricity by almost 50% and obtaining the standby generators of the private users into the national grid, and by limiting maybe usage of air conditioners in government sector as well as the private residencies in high rises in Colombo, and influencing the private sector organizations to use their own generators for their own the electricity supply. We are quite sure that PUCSL can manage the situation without scheduled power interruption for the next 3 months.
Sri Lanka's daily demand for electricity stands at about 2,600 megawatts. This can be seen even on the website of the Ceylon Electricity Board as well. But if you take a look at how Sri Lanka obtains its power, out of this 2,600 megawatts, 800 megawatts can be obtained from the Norachole coal power plant. At the same time, we also have the option of going for renewable energy sources. We can obtain power from wind power plants, we can obtain power from solar power plants, and at the same time, hydro power plants as well. However, there is a certain limitation when it comes to solar power plants, because that can be used only within a selected time frame from morning until evening. Now, we need to draw your attention to the sequence of events that unfolded in late November and early December, because that was when the power crisis began unfolding in the country. During that period, Sri Lanka was facing two main issues. The first one being the dollar crisis. This meant Sri Lanka didn't have enough dollars to import fuel or essential items as well. At the same time, there was another issue that was crippling the energy and the power sector of our country. That was the strike or the trade union action launched by the CEB Engineers Union. They had launched this trade union action citing several demands. They were demanding the depoliticization of the appointment of the CEB general manager. They were also objecting to several restructural changes that were being made to the CEB, and even they opposed the agreement signed with the US company named Newsfirst.lk Energy to give away a 40% stake of the Kerawala power plant. To reduce the impact of the trade union action launched by CEB engineers, the Ceylon Electricity Board's general manager issued a circular on the 26th of November. Through this circular, he extended the powers of electrical engineers in the country. Now, incidentally, a few days after that, that was on the 2nd of December, we witnessed a breakdown taking place in Kadwala. And the following day in the morning, a complaint was filed with authorities stating that electrical engineers had not allowed this fault to be rectified. And the coincidence here is that on the same day, Sri Lanka experienced an island-wide power outage. And this was blamed on the breakdown in the transmission line running from Kothmale to Biagama. Now, a common word that we have often heard that officials often attribute is mafia whenever there is any issue coming up in the country. At that time, the Ceylon Electricity Board's general manager blamed this power outage and raised concerns, suspicion as to whether this power cut can be caused as a result of the trade union action. Apart from a ministerial level investigation that was launched into this, a complaint was even filed with the Criminal Investigations Department. As a result of these breakdowns, 2 power generating units at the Norachole coal power plant had malfunctioned, and the 3rd power generating unit at Norachole was inactive until the 30th of last month, and we even had to wait until Chinese experts came to the country to rectify this problem. Now, with the whole Norachole coal power plant being inactive, Sri Lanka lost 300 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. And due to that reason, we had to explore alternative sources of power. The first one being thermal powered power plants, which meant that we had to purchase fuel in order to generate electricity. At the same time, Sri Lanka also explored the option of moving towards hydropower. However, water levels in reservoirs continue to decrease, raising concerns of what the future would look like as far as Sri Lanka's electricity sector is concerned. Now, interestingly, the Auditor General's Department published a report last month highlighting that there were several delays in terms of approving renewable energy projects. According to the report, they highlighted that 1,300 projects, more than 1,300 projects rather, were stalled since 2017. And if we look at the potential of these 1,300 projects, they can generate more than 4,000 megawatts of electricity. That's 4,018.84 megawatts of electricity to be precise. At the beginning of this segment, we highlighted the fact that Sri Lanka's daily demand for electricity is about 2,600 megawatts. Now, this means that Sri Lanka wouldn't have to rely on coal power plants or the other power plants in the country if the authorities had approved these 1,300 projects that have been stalled since 2017.
අමාත්‍ය ලේකම්වරිය කමිටුවක් පත් කළා.
The ministry secretary had appointed a committee to study this matter. In the interim report, they said this wasn't a breakdown and that the Criminal Investigations Department should investigate this. What happened to the conspiracy behind the power cuts? The Norachale power plant fell inactive. They have built the Norachale power plant in a way that it shuts down during a blackout. They haven't taken action against this mafia. This is a planned conspiracy.
අපි මේව දිගින් දිගට කිව්වට මේ මාෆියාවේ මේ සත්තුන්ට විරුද්ධ ඇක්ෂන් ගත්තේ නැහැ. මේ ඊටාම සැලසුම් සහගත කුමන්ත්‍රණ